Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Bar Shifts and Bullshit. I'm your host, Lily Lavender, and I've got Jay Bird here with me. We also have decided to take this episode on the run, so we're at a location. We're not going to disclose that location, but we are in the middle of town, so you're going to hear a bunch of cars driving past and people walking around talking. Anyways, this topic is on...
Today we're going to start talking about financial responsibility. Winter time's afoot. We're coming into some new ground. I've talked to several different bartenders and servers around this time of year, and I've heard a lot of the same answers, and people don't usually prepare for this time of year. So naturally people will just, like, if you ask them what they do to prepare for the winter time and when things start to get slower, it's always going to be feast or famine in this trade. Some days you'll make $400 or $500, but and this time of year you could make as low as $20 or $30. So we're going to kind of kick around some ideas on how to save money, some fun different things, and different ways to prepare.
Because bartending can be a very lucrative career, but not many people save for it or prepare for anything. So we have a few ideas on how you can save without it hurting the pocket, instead of having to just go day by day living off of the tips that you make.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that literally just their answer to this ongoing debate is to just suffer through the winter and scrape for every dollar. But we're going to come up with some different ways to that way you can kind of breathe easy, knowing that the winter could be a breeze, especially with the holidays right around the corner as well.
Oh God, yeah, the holidays are probably the worst time of the year because everything just happens at the same time.
And for me, November is usually the hardest month. I don't understand what it is about November. I don't know if it's in prep for December, but that's the one that always usually kicks me in the teeth and kind of burns me raw this time of year. So one of my favorite things that I enjoy doing, me personally, is the penny challenge. We've discussed it several times. Now, theoretically, if you were to save a penny every day and double it, here's the object of the game. You take one penny, you double it. All right, the next day you double the amount you already have saved. So day one, you have one penny. Day two, you have two pennies that you're stacking back, which you have three total. And every day you double the amount that you originally had. Now, theoretically, once you get to day around 15, 16, you are not going to be able to double the amount that you already have, because you pretty much already reached the $1,800 to $2,500 range. If you were able to do it, quick math though, if you were to double for a whole 30 days, you would have over $5 million in the bank. So it does reach a certain crazy climax somewhere along the line. But I've done this challenge several times over, and what I tend to do is make it to about day 14 or 15. I'll have about $1,800 saved up. And what I can turn around and do with that same amount is start completely over with the penny challenge. But by the time I get to the same amount that I left off from, I can use that same amount to double the initial value. So say I made it to $1,800, right? I made it to $1,800. I take that same amount and I put it back. I stash it. I pretend like it doesn't exist. Then I save all the way back to my original point, right? So I finally make it back to another $1,800. I had the previous amount that I had already saved. All of a sudden I've doubled my investment for the second go around. So that's a tricky way to do things. Naturally, you'll save a lot more money than you thought was possible, and it does make things easier for me. And I always tend to forget how much money I had originally. So for me, it's my fun way of saving money.
Mine's a little different. I like to play games. So if you have a little fun way of being able to save money, it makes it a little more interesting. You don't even think about it. You're just like, okay, what's in store for me for the next day? So I have an envelope theory, and I write a dollar amount on that envelope. So for each day that I work, I pick an envelope for that day, and that amount is what I got to save from whatever it was I made in tips that day. It could be anywhere from $1 to $200. I usually keep it low. Anything under $200 is perfect because it's doable. And I'll do that for the 30 days or however many days in the month, and then whatever days I work only. But there's another one. For each day of the week on a calendar, I'll write a dollar amount in addition to my envelope theory. And I'll save both of those amounts depending on what I made for that day.
Now, theoretically, we've went in a lot of different debates over this. I've kicked this around with different bartenders and different servers. But ideally, you need to be saving money for at least 6 months in advance. I save for about 3. That's more realistic.
And mine 6 months to a year.
So the attachment is what you got to do is go over all your finances and theoretically think about what you could survive on for 3 to a year, depending on who you want to argue with right at this point.
Yeah, and it really depends on what your average daily tip rate is.
We probably should have leaned on this a little bit harder for at the beginning of all this when the hot season was going on, but it kind of was brought to our attention when tips are starting to gradually go to a decline. Holidays sometimes brings in a lot more cash. Just keep all this stuff in mind. Don't count on the money that you're used to getting daily, because seasons do change. We are in North Carolina where seasons change dramatically. It'll be 85 degrees one day and 32 degrees the next. It's just kind of the world we live in right now. So some people like to stay home and drink hot chocolate, and the other ones like to hide at any bar possible. So different things that we like to address is take account of your financing, and there's another kind of different things that we like to look into. I like to look at the 50-30-20 rule. 50-30-20 rule is like an actual statement of your finances per month. So you take all your bills, you collaborate everything together at the 50%, and if 50% of your income covers all of your bills, that's what you put it toward. And the next, the 30% that's left over, you use it for your reckless spending, your impulse buying, your Amazon wish list, all that other stuff. That's money that you're allowed to play around with. Keep in mind, I would use that as your Christmas money. If you can use that 30% to cover that, that means that you're not spending into your household income to make sure that the bills are paid. And 20% goes towards savings, just a random extra savings.
See, and I'm completely backwards with that, because I would rather save that 50% and use the 30% or the 20% for my reckless spending and bills that I've got. So I always try to keep my bills under 30% of my income. Under.
Yeah, but if you're a normal person with reckless spending like myself, 50-30-20 rule goes just fine. Yeah, just keep in mind, if you don't go over that 50% mark, you're not struggling, and you're not working from paycheck to paycheck, and you're not dependent on that one dude to give you an outstanding tip.
I mean, this is a really good way to control your spending habits. Take a look at what you are spending, cut out the bills that you don't really need.
FYI, I learned another trick here recently. Look at something, and if you're an impulse buyer, I ain't gonna lie, I have my moments. If you impulse buy, go online, make you a cart. She's really good at making carts. I've seen it. It's her cart is never as big as mine. It's usually up in the thousands, where mine's about $600 right now. But what you got to do is look at your impulse buying, put it all in a cart. Now wait 30 days before you purchase this impulse buy. If you can wait a full 30 days, you'll either realize that you don't really want it, or you realize you don't really need it. And after 30 days, if you still have the income and you still want to buy it, then it's still going to be there. It's never going to go anywhere. The sales aren't going to change unless it's Black Friday. But this is going to help you with those holidays as well.
Ooh, Amazon Prime days are up right now.
FYI, put that in the cart and don't touch it for 30 days. Just keep it simple, guys. But so statistically, if you can wait 30 days, 9 times out of 10, you won't even purchase what you originally wanted to buy.
That's true.
Yeah, that's how you control your impulse buying. It actually helps me quite a bit. I know you see something, you feel like you have to have it right then. I have actually taught myself over a period of time that what I really, really want, I can usually do without, and it wasn't a necessity for me at the time. I just saw something I wanted and I wanted to get it.
I took a look at my finances for the last month, and I actually spent more in food than anything else.
Yeah, but she's got a whole tribe, FYI. She's got quite a few people that she's got to feed. I've got 3, and one of those is including my dog. So I don't have to spend as much, but I am a one-income household. So, and if for those of you that are one-income households, keep that in mind as well. You're only dependent on yourself, which that's something to breathe easy about. If you can control your own finances and you're completely on your own, that just means anything extra is extra spending for you. Congratulations. I'm jealous.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But Also, check your debt to income ratio. If you serve for a living or bartend for a living, and for some odd reason somebody gave you the ability to buy you a brand new vehicle and decided that your credit was worthy enough, which is not me, by the way.
It's not me either.
Yeah. Most of the time, if you're in this industry, you got bad credit. And you pay for everything with cash. But if you're in a position where you can use your finances to buy a new vehicle, whatever, make sure your payments adjust to your 50% income, or if you're Lily Lavender, your 30% income. So all of that stuff does play a factor, guys. And if you feel comfortable paying $700 or $800 a month on a vehicle right now, that may not be the case around November, December, or January, February, which seasons fluctuate here, tend to get busier during the holidays, but nothing between January, February, or March.
It's usually not worth it to buy a brand new vehicle either way you look at it anyways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm used to ending vehicles. If they run and get me from point A to point B, I don't really need a new vehicle. I'd rather have something I can beat up anyway. Yeah, save on those DUIs or whatever, which I don't have, by the way.
I don't either.
Still holding my record, so.
But another fun thing to do is with your loose change that you get on a daily basis, save it all up. Like I have a 5-gallon water jug at home, and I sealed the cap on, and I just cut out a slit in the top so I can just drop in, but I can never take out until it gets full, and I want to go cash it in.
I have a protein jug. So I did the exact same thing with my change. I tend to find about $20 or $30 extra in my car because I don't make that merge. So I've got my giant piggy bank, chilling with me everywhere I go. But yeah, I got protein containers and everything that I use for the set amount.
Oh yeah, and then my son uses a coffee can.
Coffee can.
Yeah.
That's always good stuff.
Which is pretty neat until his sister gets to it and she's like, "Ooh, change. Let me just grab a whole handful."
Yeah. My kids love arcades, and they think it's free grabs to go and do all this other stuff as well. But yeah. So guys, just kind of keep in mind that the season's coming up, and things may get a little bit tight. You don't have to suffer through the holidays. That's not necessary. You can always make these adjustments.
And you can always make this a really good career with saving money.
Right. Well, and don't hate the idea of investing. I mean, Roth IRAs are doing like an all-time high right now versus what they were 10, 20 years ago. That's why everybody wanted to invest through their company. But now there's so many different options to what you can invest in and come out on top. I mean, if you're lucky enough, you can retire at 40 or 50 if you really push the envelope. For you 21-year-olds.
I don't know about that. Or you can always learn how to play the stock market and become a day trader or a swing trader, which is what I like to do.
Yeah, that's not my thing. That's a little bit too risky, and I don't know what I'm doing. But she likes to press the envelope with that kind of stuff, and she knows she's been playing around with the stock market for a hot minute. But I'm not a wolf of Wall Street by any means. So I'm not even about to play that game. But that's kind of all I have to add for this.
Yeah, no, that was really it.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a short episode today, guys, but please stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to be talking about line cooks and their adjustment into the food industry. Can they be chefs or can they not be chefs? And
we have a really good guest speaker for that one.
We do have a special guest speaker, somebody that we've both known for years on end, and we've seen him. He's seen us grow. We've seen him grow. We've both take this industry by storm. Please stay tuned for next week's episode. You guys, thank you so much.